You have to try this crazy Willbender build. It is very fun, very strong, and very effective in Guild Wars 2 PvP right now. Thanks to all my supporters. Credits for the original build to Demonish and his teammate Epi. I just want to promote this amazing build because it's really fun. I tried it and it's such a cool theory crafting behind it and it works so well. So if you're intrigued by this, be sure to watch the whole video to not miss out a thing about this amazing build. And now without much further ado, let's jump straight in. Let's start with the gear. Yes, we are in PvP, of course, so we can use the normal gear template, and there already it starts the theory crafting. We are using Valkyrie Amulet on Willbender. So we don't get any precision from our amulet, we just get power, ferocity, and vitality. So we actually have quite a large health pool, as you can see here, over 22k. That's a lot of health to get through. And we also take Rune of the Reaper so that we get actually some toughness here and some precision and some power. It's just a really good choice for this build because we still want to get precision, don't get me wrong. Just our amulet gives us a lot of defensive stats on top of that. And toughness on the rune helps a lot to make your HP a little bit more effective. So you can see 1100 toughness, and then we take Relic of the Mistburn. This is the key of this whole build. So you get 5% crit chance increase while you have 10 stacks of might or more. That already gives you 5% more crit chance. Doesn't sound like that much, but you have baseline with this rune and the relic, you get like 20% crit chance. That's quite nice because you can upkeep might permanently over 10. And then the second part of the Mistborn relic is actually even better for this build. Whenever you grant might to yourself on 1 second ICD, you grant yourself another stack of might. So you will always have 1 stack and get another one. So whenever you proc some kind of traits or whatever, you get 2 stacks of might with this. See it like this. Yeah, the ICD, yes, there is an ICD, but it does not matter most of the time. But keep that in mind. It's really good. So it just doubles your might output for the most part. It's really, really good. And then, of course, you take Spear and you take Sword, but you take not Sword in the offhand like the normal Willbender build. Be sure to check that one out as well. This is a focus. So we use Sword focus because we have more focus towards side nodding. You're still very good in a team fight, but you really want to be able to solo one-on-ones and stuff like that. And don't have to fear that you get one shot or just can't outlast the enemy as with the normal Willbender build that has amazing damage, but lacks a little bit of sustain. But this is more for side nodding, and this, in my opinion, currently in the meta, actually better than the other Willbender build. And for the sigils, you want to take energy and courage. Courage, again, works very well with Mistborn Relic because that means that you actually get more might from courage. Keep that in mind. But of course, energy makes sense just for more dodges. And like I said, Spear and Sword focus. Before I go to the traits, I want to mention, if you liked this video and found it helpful, be sure to hit the like button. And if you want to see more content, more guides like this, be sure to subscribe. But now let's talk about the traits. So for the traits, you go Radiance, of course, Valor, which is really weird for a Willbender build, and you go for Willbender, of course. Let's start with Radiance because that's the most common setup. Radiance just gives you some light aura and blindness on your F1, which you can spam quite often. Then your F1 resets when you kill a foe. That's quite nice, so you can actually deal more damage, you can move faster. Happens sometimes in PvP, of course, as well. And then attacks against burning foes have an increased critical hit chance, 10%. The foe might be burning, but this is not very reliable, but that's quite nice as well. And you get more ferocity, just more damage. Then you take right hand strength, so that means you get 80 precision all the time. So that's why you actually get a little bit higher precision than usual. And while you have a one-handed weapon in your main hand, which is not the spear but a sword, you actually get 80 power on top of that. So quite nice. And then you take Retribution, just for more strike damage, 10%, while you have Resolution. You have a lot of Resolution. You will see in why in a second. And then you take Righteous Instincts, because that trait is again really, really well synergizing with your Valkyrie and your Mistburn relic. So Resolution increases your chance to critically strike, so you get just 40% more crit chance while you have Resolution, which is huge. Like I said, you have 20% baseline with the Relic of the Mistburn, plus 40% from Righteous Instincts, means you are 60% already without running any, like, so to say, full aggressive Berserk Amulet or something. It's really good. And then the second part is also very good. It grants Might Eat interval. So every second that you have Resolution, you get 1 might stack, which will be doubled because of the Mistburn relic. So you get a lot of might because of this. That's really, really good. Of course, might increases your damage output. So Valor, gain H's when you are struck below the health threshold. Okay, some H's, but it's 30-second cooldown, not that good. Then protection when you block an incoming attack with H's. This is really good. This is only 1 second, but it's again another boon proc that you actually like. And you get some more damage decrease, because if you're focused and you get an Aegis out, wherever it comes from, and you get protection after that, it means that you get less damage and you actually are more tanky. Makes sense. And then gain might when you block attacks. Again, very good synergy with all those minor traits already, because you get more might. And this is on a 1 second ICD, so that means that you actually can get that quite frequently if you get H's, if you have any other blocks like a focus 5. And then it get mites, and this will get again more value because you have the Mistborn relic. So a lot of synergy already. Then you take Focus Mastery. Focus skills grant you protection and gain reduced recharge. Your focus skills got just a rework, we will get to the skills in a second, but they will both grant you resolution and protection, so your resolution uptime for your Righteous Instinct is higher, and you have more defenses, of course, against condition and power damage, really strong already. Then you take Redemption. Cast Lesser Litany of Wrath when you activate Virtue Skill 3. Your Virtue Skill 3 is really low cooldown, 30 seconds. It will grant you a 4 seconds healing skill. Of 33% of your damage that you deal is returned to you as healing. Typically when you use this, you are already at full health after that, if you know what you're doing. Really, really strong. Every 30 seconds you get, so to say, a second healing skill. Really, really good. And then lastly, this is the trait where I told you that boons application, even if it's just 1 second, matters a lot, is altruistic healing. Heal yourself when you grant a boon to an ally. This also works for yourself. So you get 69, very nice. Healing if you get a boon. And that is really good because you get a lot of boons. Like I said, you get resolution, you get might when you have resolution. Mistborn relics again doubles the might output, so you get more procs of this, and you get over the course of a match a lot of times you heal yourself, even if you're on a 1-on-1. But in a team fight, this will obviously go higher because you provide boons to allies as well. So it's actually really, really strong, this trait, even though it looks not the highest number, but you actually apply a lot of boons. Now let's talk about Willbender. Willbender, of course, get access to its movement skills with the virtues. They're not instant cast anymore. We will talk about the skills in a second and the combos. Then you get some swiftness when you use your virtues, and your movement speed is increased. That's quite nice. Of course, you want to run fast, even as a side-noting build, especially as a side-noting build, I would say. Each time you activate a virtue, you get a stack, and this stacks up to 5 times, and it increases your power and condition damage. So really nice, just more damage. You don't take your lethal tempo improvement trait, you take the Phoenix protocol, because in PvP it still gives alacrity and some region, which again are boons, but of course they're also really good boons on themselves, especially alacrity, because you get more, so to say, cooldown reduction. It's really, really strong. So really nice. One of the rare traits where you actually get alacrity anymore in competitive modes. And then you take Vanguard Tactics, of course, that's just a must on Willbender. Activating Crashing Turrets grants resistance, that's quite nice. Resistance lets you ignore non-damaging conditions, and Shadow Stepping grants resolution and protection, and you have a lot of Shadow Steps. And again, that means 2 boons that you will get there, and they are obviously nice defensive boons as well. And lastly, you take this trait here because it grants you more vitality, therefore makes him a little bit more tanky, and your Willbender Flames now heal you when you strike an enemy. That's not that important for the most part, but it is not a bad healing skill. On top of that, don't forget, this is a little bit weird because this removes your healing strikes from your F2, but this one still gives you healing on the others. So keep that in mind. But in general, this is like very important for the cooldown reduction and the boons. Now let's talk about the skills and the combos. So for your F skills, of course, they are all movement skills. This one is a ground targeted and a teleport, so it also grants you protection and resolution. But those two are dashes. And this one is a nice damaging dash, and this is a nice healing dash if you use it correctly. And of course, with the traits, it grants you alacrity and removes some nice movement impairing condition. And it's an evade, so really defensive one. Use that carefully. And this is, of course, give you some H's and stability. And this is just really, really strong if you use that for engaging, or even if you want to disengage. And don't forget, this grants you the healing skill, the small one. Then you have your spear. Your auto attack is really good. It heals you a little bit and is in cone attack, does melee damage, and this one is healing you, and dashes is a light movement skill. This one is important to some extent to reposition, of course, but also it grants you the illuminated buff. All of them grant you that if you have a specific condition met. And this means that your next spear attack is illuminated and therefore will have more value. So if this one is illuminated, you get more healing. This one will deal damage, and if you strike an enemy with it, with the initial spin, you get illuminated, and therefore the next attack will be stronger. If this one is illuminated, you get some more damage, and you grant boons to allies as well. And then the 4th skill, really strong. This one is the most important one, I would say, that you illuminated, because it grants more spear projectiles. So this is just a thrown thing, and it hits multiple targets on the ground. And each of those will heal, they will damage the enemy, and they will remove conditions from you, allies, and you. So if you want to get the most value of that, if you want to get any illuminated skill beforehand, so that you actually can use that to deal more damage and get more contact lenses and more healing. Really strong. And then you have your 5 skill, which is a rather long cooldown of 30 seconds, but it's so to say a symbol that illuminates all your attacks when you stand in it. And if you have this illuminated, you will just have illuminance permanently for the next few seconds. And this one is really good because it grants resistance and it's a knockdown. So you will cast this on the enemy is knocked down, and then you can use, for example, the 4 skill, and it will hit all projectiles if they don't use a stun break. So it's really, really strong because of that. And of course, it's a very nice setup skill for all the other things. You can, for example, combine it with the Judge's Intervention, which is your very important teleport skill. It is also a stun break. This is an instant cast stun break, teleport. If you have a target, you can use this skill while casting it. Shortly before the cast finishes, you can teleport with the instant cast, and you can set up the CC from a long range, 1200 range. Really, really strong. And then you get your damage after this. So use that carefully. Then you have your sword focus. Your sword auto is a melee ranged auto attack that is quite decent. Then you have a 2 skill, which is again a teleport, grants you the boons, grants you fury, is a symbol, does some nice damage, really, really strong. The 3 skill is a block in front of you and does some damage. A little bit range on top of that, 600 range. Then this skill got reworked. So Ray of Judgment is now an AoE, and you will cast this, and this does some damage, and heals some allies, and grants some conditions from allies. And it is also a very nice skill for the protection and resolution, while also being some kind of multi-hit attack that also deals therefore quite a nice amount of damage if the enemy stands in it. And lastly, you have Shield of Wrath, instant cast blast finisher skill, and grants 3 blocks for 4 seconds. So if you block 3 times, it's gone. But if you don't block anything, it will deal some heavy damage with the explosion after the 4 seconds, and it grants you some nice protection resolution again. For your healing skill, I would recommend going for Signet of Resolve. That means that you passively cleanse a condition every 5 seconds, 1 condition. That's quite nice. If you need a big chunk of healing, we can use it, of course, and it also removes 2 conditions then. But I would say, especially if you fight against a lot of condis, I would recommend trying to keep that as long as possible, because you have a lot of other ways to heal with your Crashing Courage and your passive heals from altruistic healing, for example. That this is a passive condi cleanse that you take every 5 seconds, 1 condi, it's not bad. Then I already talked about Judge's Intervention, really important stun break and teleport skill. And then you have 2 physical skills. First of all, you have Flash Combo, which is a shadow step to your target, and then you hit them multiple times, does some nice damage. And if you complete this skill without being interrupted, you can use the second part of the skill, which is Repose, which is actually, in my opinion, even better than the first part, because it lets you move back to the location where you started, healing you for over 2.5k and removing 2 conditions. It's a blast finisher, but it's also teleport again, both of the parts are, and therefore both proc the Vanguard Tactics trait and again give you boons, so keep that in mind. A lot of synergies there. And then lastly, you have another stun break, which is Rolling Light. It's an evade that is backwards and grants you resistance and blinds enemies. And then you get access to Quick Retribution, which is a lunge forward, so the opposite again, the opposite direction. And if you hit this, it will daze the enemy. And it also is a leap finisher, so that can be useful for some, if there's a water field down or something. Could change one of those, for example, for Contemplation of Purity, one of the best Guardian skills. It's an instant cast stun break that removes all conditions from you and converts them into boons, so really, really strong. So you can change it, of course, however you like. There are other options that you could also go for. This is just the setup that I would recommend. And lastly, of course, you take Renewed Focus, really, really strong. Has over 100-second cooldown, but it's a 3-second invulnerability, and it recharges your virtues. So if you use this, you go invulnerable, and that means that you actually can survive after that, quite likely as well, because you reset your virtues, which let you evade, and especially the Crashing Courage lets you port out or port in, and it will give you again the Lesser Litany of Wrath, which is another healing skill, so don't forget this. So typically if you use that after the Renewed Focus is up, you can actually heal back to full if you use it correctly, because you have this damage to healing conversion. So really nice synergy. Typical combos, like I already mentioned, are using the 5 skill and shortly before the cast finished, use the teleport, and then you can get the instant knockdown on the enemy. So really nice. It's quite hard to dodge. Other than that, you have very nice, like I said, combo potential with the Lesser Litany of Wrath, and try to use the F3 skill and then use all your damaging skills on the enemy to actually make sure that you get the healing output from the Lesser Litany of Wrath. And in general, you have a lot of nice burst potential if you combine all your AoEs on the point, like the 4 here, like the 2 here that puts a symbol down, and then of course all of your AoEs on top of the point while you have the Lesser Litany of Wrath up, so that you actually get a lot of healing output. And in general, you can actually, your melee build, yes, but if you engage on the enemy, it's sometimes quite hard for them to actually get away from you, because you have a lot of dashes. This is a dash, this is a dash, This is a dash, this is a teleport. And again, this is a teleport, this is a teleport, this can be a teleport. So there is so many different things that you have in this kit that proc all your traits and all the synergies. So as you can see in the background, it's a really fun and really amazing build. Now to the gameplay section. So I'm commentating over a ranked match in Platinum where I played this build and give you my analysis of my gameplay and how to play this build and when to rotate and stuff like that. So hopefully that helps you out to see how this build works. Of course, I don't play it perfectly, I just play it decently now. And now we go here on this Guardian and try to engage on them. And this guy decides to disengage, we go for the decap. I try to follow here because I know I want to help my teammates and maybe we can swing the map even further than we already have. We lost the map, so to say, with the bell, which is the important part because the enemy team already got the first bell. So we have to be quite careful here. And I engage here, I will get pressured a lot, I know that, but I use my, so to say, F3 to disengage, which is obviously not the smartest way, but it's okay. And we try to disengage here, but they are obviously quite pressuring me, but it's a nice thing. You have a lot of blocks, you have a lot of skills that make you invulnerable, but sadly I can't outlast the great sword burst of a Willbender. But you can see we come back from this now. We slowly come back from this, even though we have like over 200 points behind. So we're still trying. That's the good part. We didn't give up yet. At least some of my players didn't. And we consistently lose fights, so that's not the good part. But yeah, we try to push in again after this death. And you now can see that I decide to go for close and help the teammate there, even though they lost. But I thought it's a fair deal. I use my mobility skills to get there fast, maybe get the res with my other teammate, get the kill here, very good. And we can swing the map from here from getting one kill, hopefully. And if we hold this position, we will still lose. If the enemy team has 1 point, we will lose. I noticed that and I decided to go too far because we need to get the decap. We really need to. If we don't get the decap, we will lose. So no one is contesting me of the enemy team, so that's good. I can get the decap, but we will lose the mid fight. That is like almost a given. My team almost lost the team fight, so it will not change, and that's exactly the case. So I just get the decap and I try to help my team at mid again. Yes, we are outnumbered there, but maybe we can swing the fight even though we are outnumbered. And yes, we actually get like someone quite pressured, and I try to get the counter kill here. And almost, yes, there we go, finally. And at this point, we actually get a kill. I can get some nice cleave down. I can't leave the point because they might cap it again, or they get the res here even. And they get the enemy team gets again the close point. That's enough to win. And I see that I have to disengage and have to make the decap work here. Fight against the Guardian here. Have to be a little bit careful. And really want to get the decap. That's why I'm using my invulnerability here to make sure that I go out there. Misplayed here quite hard, to be honest, with the teleport. I thought I could actually land the stability first, but it didn't. Then I just try to... You can see how much juke potential you have with this build, with the teleports and stuff. And I will win this matchup after a while because I'm just having a better like one-on-one build. But my teammate also outnumbers me. We get a nice like invulnerability force and we get the decap in that, which is the only thing that we actually wanted. I now decide to follow up. My teammate decides to cap and we are only 150 points behind at this point. And if we get the bell, we could help there, but if the enemy team gets the bell, they instantly win. So we have to be really careful there and commit very hard to the bell. It's now a 2v2 here. That's, or 3v2 rather, from the enemy team. So it's actually quite good for us if we can last this. I have to be a bit careful, but you can see how much healing and how much boons you get, and all of that heals you, so you can play it quite well. I dodged the longbow too and just try to like play it a little bit safe and not die here, because there are a lot of people potentially there and I really want that we get the bell. We got the bell, I get a counter kill with my teammate there, that's good. And we are in a good spot at this position, yeah. It's almost unbelievable that we came back from the early game's mistake, but we actually came, and that's really good. And now we can just try to snowball from there. I teleport too early. I wanted to teleport over this, but it worked anyway. And get some damage here. And you can see how much damage this guild is also possible to output because of all the might that you have. And the crit chance, of course. And very, very nice damage here. And in general, yeah, just very nice, like how we came back from this for now. Let's see if we can actually win the match as well, because we have 5 minutes on the timer, so it's easily doable in the timer. But if the enemy team gets 1 point or 1 snowball, we will lose. And look at the allies' health bars, it's crazy. I'm pushing far again to help my teammate, but I'm a little bit too late, should have gone earlier. Try to get the interrupt, but they stealthed, so I couldn't teleport there in time. Now I try to get some counter cleave going and try to hold the node. You know, if I can hold the node for long enough, maybe get even some kills or not die, that's the important part here, then I'm fine. So I decide to not die, which is more important, get some healing output, and you can see how much healing potential you also have. And I dodge most of the Virtuoso's attack while also trying to pressure the Holosmith, and we are now in a outnumbered situation again, but my teammate helps me a little bit, to be honest. That's good. And at this point, we actually ahead, first time in this whole match. And we came back from that, and the enemy team doesn't find any ground to come back. That's the potential of snowballing, and it's, in my opinion, also a decent showcase of this build because I outlasted quite well, got some nice damage. It was not perfect gameplay, for sure, not even close, but decent showcase. And I will have a second match as well now, so this one should be even a better showcase. This is just was a fun match to commentate the ending of, I would say. So we are in the second match now, and I am, of course, not pushing far or close because my team decided that's not what they want to do. And I have to go mid. Okay, that's not the ideal spot, but I have some team support as well. So I go mid, I guess. I thought that there are a lot of people engaging on me, so I was just dropping down here. There was someone stealthed here, and I was doing the right decision in the end to go there. But now I decided to help my teammates here, but they already found a kill. That's quite good. The support is actually also like doing a weird... I don't think it's the support even. They are just rotating there for whatever reason. So at this point, we actually... I should not have pushed here. I thought this would be a support and I have to interrupt the rest or something. And now I just try to survive again because there are 2 people on me potentially. And we are in a 3v3 here, which is obviously a good spot for us. And we got the map. And this is a Gunflame Berserker, so I focus on this guy. And try to help my teammates, even though they already went down and died fully because of the Gunflame Berserker, I guess. And now just try to bunker the node a bit and help my teammates by also not dying because there are 4 people here, 4 enemy players. And they disengage mostly, so I just try to troll them a bit and say, okay, let's try to live as long as possible in this outnumbered situation and maybe even like distract them from the rest of the map. And you can see I have a lot of potential to teleport, a lot of defensive skills like protection and stuff up all the time and blocks. So I can easily outlast a lot of times while also providing a lot of damage. And my teleports really annoy the enemy team, of course. You see how much damage I can also output and have a nice CC chain as well. Just forced to use the stun break there, but it's okay. Get some nice damage again, some nice dashes. And with that, I can also continue here to damage, and you see how much damage potential we have if we turn as well. Of course, my teammates helped there, but still. And it's quite a good showcase that even though I'm like a Willbender that is quite squishy, somewhat squishy, I still have so much healing and protection and stuff uptime that I actually can really well deal with that and heal myself. Look at the healing output is like crazy, especially if I use my F3. I'm like almost always full life after that. So really, really good. I hope you have as much fun with this build as I do. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Credits to the original build again to Demolish on this teammate Epi. Thanks again to all my supporters. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video.